welcome back. If you follow the channel, you know a couple weeks ago I was able to pick up this 1960 Stratocaster, previously owned by Joe Bonamassa. I did a video on it over here. It was really cool to get this item and find a backup for my 59 Strat, and it's been really amazing. It's got such a spooky character, and I was grateful to have it. So the first video I did on this was just talking about the acquisition and talking a little bit about the guitar. And then on part 2, which came out last week, we totally dove into it and did some kind of archaeology and basically, measured pickup values and pot values and wrote down date codes and everything we could find to kind of, find out what this guitar was all about. Just really cool stuff. I love that part of the vintage guitar, collecting is the little names written inside or the date codes or anything like that. Anything that just kind of pinpoint what it is. That's fun to me. And this guitar was also nice enough to give me a third video today. In the final stages of getting it all ready and setting it up the way I like, I noticed it has a couple of problems with it. I'm an avid collector of old, Fender parts, whether it's pots, switches, bridge assemblies, tuners, anything I can to keep the guitars going. And, this original 3-way switch in here was giving me some trouble. So I figured, I'll just throw another CRL 1452 in there. That's what Fender used back then. But all of my switches, one way or another, had some kind of issue. They were too loose, or the contacts weren't right. Some of the functions, when you had them in the in-between positions, the tones wouldn't work. So, I figured the guitar's going to be a player. Let me get a new switch. But luckily, they're still making a 1452 these days. It's a little upgraded, some revisions, but it's still the body. It's basically the same switch, and it's brand new, and it's strong and durable. So, with this guitar being 1960, it's old, and these original tremolo springs are just not as strong as they could be. So I got a set of those to swap out too. I do play with a fuzz a lot with my Strats, and I'm going to install a treble bleed. I have a couple of values that I work with that I really like for the old pickups. They sound really well, so we're going to do that as well. And lastly, the heartbreaker, not necessarily bad because everything's still functioning, but the pickups. Very microphonic. Middle pickup not so much, but the bridge and the neck are extremely microphonic. So we're going to pull those out and we're going to pot those as well. So if you guys want to stick along and check that out, we're going to be doing some vintage Stratocaster repairs. Get this guitar 100% playing wise, and I'm really excited. And here's the video. We're going to get into the parts I'm using right now. So yeah, man, check it out. Here we go. All right, so just shooting through the parts list really quick. I had spoke about these Raw Vintage Tremolo Springs. I use them in my 59 Strat, both the Rosewood and the Maple. And, I bought into the internet hype to see what the big deal was. And for 20 bucks, these really do improve the openness and the resonance of the guitar to me. And it really does control those tuning stability issues. So I bought me a set through Amazon. They were cheap enough. So we're going to put these on there. And like I said, the 3-way switch was giving me problems. Ironically, you can still find a CRL 1452. There have been some revisions, over the years, but this is still the same switch, the same part number, and it still does the same function. This one is nice and tight, and I'm going to install this in there and be able to get all 5 of those pickup positions. I know I could have used the 5-way, but I just like to keep it with the 3-way. I don't know, I'm weird like that, but this is going to be cool to install. I got a couple of treble bleeds here to test out. I kind of already know what I'm going to go with, but, for the old Strats, I really tend to like a couple of these values. Now, everybody's going to ask what treble bleed I used. The real honesty of it is everybody's guitar and everybody's setup is different. Everybody's fuzz pedal is different. Everybody's amp, everybody's string gauge. So, and even the value of people's pots, the volume pot, that's all different. So what I use is not really going to help you. There are 3 different methods you can use to install a treble bleed here. I like these 2 methods where it's just the capacitor and the capacitor and resistor in parallel. Many values you can try, but they're cheap enough. They're $1. And anywhere from 150 picofarad to 1,000 picofarad. You can have a lot of fun testing. Cool, so now we got a couple of great products from DaDDARIO. This really small, out of the way tuner is really, really great, really bright. You can clip it anywhere pretty much on the headstock, and it's fully adjustable, and it's really great. You know, it's out of the way, it's not in the way if you're playing. You don't have to worry about it flying off, and you can leave it on the guitar and, you know, have accurate tuning. Using these, it's basically multi-tool for the guitar. You know, the cutters work great. It can also clip my cat's nails. And I got a string winder, and for the acoustics, you got a peg remover. So it's a great tool, and you know, it's compact. You put it right in the gig bag, and you're all set. And for this guitar, I'm going with the. I really like the NYXL 10-46. It's been really great. The strings feel good. I wipe them down after I'm done playing, and I like what they do to the sound. So these are going to stay on the guitar because the guitar has felt like a rubber band. Really, really cool. It takes the high action really well, so these are staying on there. A couple of tools I'm going to need for this job is just a couple of screwdrivers, the solder sucker, we got the Weller soldering iron, and our tools. So let's get into it. Alright, so as you can see, we got the new switch installed. Nice tight response, that's great. We got the treble bleed installed. I was able to, you know, clean up some solder joints too. This volume pot I noticed is a little loose. Let's see if I can, yeah, so I'm gonna tighten that up too. But yeah, now we're gonna remove the pickups. That's kind of self-explanatory, just unscrew them and pull them out. But I'll show you the potting process, and then I'll put them back in and we'll see what we get. So you can see the black bobbins with the bright 42 gauge 4-var wire. A lot of the reasons why the black bobbin pickups can fail or break is because the rust that you see exhibited on these pole pieces will travel down, you know, the magnet and basically spread, and eventually the wire will chafe onto that rust and snap. But you know, I'm just gonna do my best and go as easy as I can and get these things potted, but I'm excited for that. Really, really cool. Alright, so this is the method I've been using for potting pickups. This is more the in a jam method, but I'm basically using a small amount of water. This mason jar is filled with paraffin wax, and I'm elevating the jar with the lid from the jar. And I wait till that wax melts and keep it around 120 to 140 degrees, regulating my temperature with the heat of the oven. And again, this is not the perfect way to do it or the proper way. This is just an in a jam method. It'll fix my problem once that wax is fully melted and regulated at about 130 degrees. We'll start dunking some pickups in. That's pretty cool, you know. Gotta make do with what you got. Alright, so here's the main offender, the neck pickup. Put that in there. As you can see, those bubbles leaving. That's just the air in between the coils. giving you those vibrations or harmonics causing the squeal. So this proves that my theory is right and the method is doing its job. And I'll just move the pickup around just to draw all that air out. You can see the bubbles actively coming out, so it's a good sign. So we just dip the middle pickup in, and as you can see, there's not really much happening there. So as I suspected, that pickup was good. So yeah, pretty soon we'll be putting this back together. So here we are with the pickups installed. I did check them with a multimeter on the table after I potted in to make sure nothing, you know, broke or came loose or was functioning improperly. But we can also do a quick little test. Once you get it all wired up, you can test it this way. Okay, so basically you just take a small jumper, plug it into the guitar input or the output jack, whatever you want to consider it. You take your multimeter, you put it on ohms, and you put the red lead to the tip and the black lead to the ground. I'm just trying to hold it all, but you can see there we have 521 in the neck position. About 6K in the middle. In the bridge we have 5.4. So it looks like we have these wired up correctly. I'm just going to mount the pick guard now, run the strings on. I haven't swapped the tremolo springs out yet. I'm going to do that once the guitar is tuned up and kind of do a little back-to-back. But yeah, we're moving forward. Let's do it. No more microphonics, that's great. My switch is also functioning in all the positions, nice and tight. My in-between positions with the fuzz up, you know. I like it, and the treble bleed with the fuzz worked out great as well, because you get the really sparkling cleans as you know you back off the volume, but it still, you know, it still stays fat and big. Is just try to put a block in here and swap these four. I'm gonna go with 4 springs because I had 4 originals in there. Swap these springs over really quick right in front of you guys and see if we're still in tune. All right, we've obviously dropped tune, and right away I can feel that there's less tension on here, so I might put the 5th one. We're gonna know right away putting this 5th spring on is if I just lift the guitar over and it's back in tune. We kind of know that's the tension it wants to be at, you know. Sounds pretty good to me. Let's check it. There it is, that's E flat. So, to me, in my ears in the room right now, the guitar is livelier and it's against my body, it's moving more. By the way, the whammy bar action is a lot less. The bridge is still pinned to the body like I like. Just, you know, acoustically too, I mean, so yeah, man, I mean, I am so excited. We got this guitar, we got the You know, still some microphonics are great. I like that aspect. But as far as the squealing, you can see, you remember in those videos, all the bubbles getting forced out by the wax being penetrated into the pickup coils. You know, we got a treble bleed. You know, we just cleaned up some solder joints. We fixed the three-way switch. And we swapped in a set of the Raw Vintage Tremolo Springs. But I have to say, all in all, I'm super, super satisfied with this guitar. It doesn't need anything now but to be played. I'm getting used to the original frets, or the vintage style frets in here too. It's really not bad. So this guitar is pretty much done now, and I just really need to focus on bettering my playing, and I really want to become a better player in the next months to come. I want to start playing more gigs, do some demo videos. As far as buying gear, I think I'm pretty much tapped out. I don't need anything else, and I'm 100% grateful and happy with what I do have. I appreciate you guys sticking with me for this whole vlog series about this guitar. Like I said, the first part was a run through of the guitar. Second part, we totally dissected it and, you know, wrote down date codes and recorded everything we discovered from this thing. And then this last part here was just kind of putting my own personal finishing touches on it. Modified a treble bleed, fixed the three-way switch, using potted the pickups to relieve some of that squeal they were doing. Set of Raw Vintage Tremolo Springs. Not a plug or anything like that. I've always been a DaDDARIO user, and they've helped me out in the past. But they really came through and gave me some great stuff for the YouTube channel. And to put those NYXLs in this guitar and really feel a difference was kind of cool. To me, they kind of feel, the NYXLs feel broken in sooner. They feel a little bit more comfortable to play. The bends are a little easier to me. And they just have a great sound to them. And the whole guitar has this great resonant rubber band kind of feel, and I'm so happy. Any further video suggestions, comments, likes, dislikes, you know, I understand that's going to happen. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you're into this kind of thing, please hit your notifications to stay updated, because there's going to be much more of this stuff. I love doing these videos, and I appreciate everybody. I hope everybody has a great weekend and a happy Memorial Day. Peace from the Riff. See you. Wow.